Cheers! Welcome to my channel. This is a timely tarot oracle reading about random shift. If you resonate with the title and or the thumbnail, this is the perfect reading for you, delivered at the perfect time, courtesy of the universe from the language of synchronicity. This is a timely reading, so if you're watching it at this time, it's the perfect time for you. Having said that, if it's been a while since I posted this, what was going on in your life back then? That could give you further clarity as to your situation now. So we do have the King of Wands here as the underlying energy. So this is optimistic energy. The King of Wands is a forward thinker for sure. This is someone that, is active and enjoys adventure and being active, basically, and tackling new projects. He's also considered to be the sexiest of all the kings. The kind of guy you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers. You could forgive him for anything almost because he's so charismatic and charming. And, this is an energy of someone who, he is from the element of fire. His element is representing fire is the wand, and the wand energy is made of wood. Wood fuels fire, and it's about taking passionate action. And it's also talking about the actions from your ancestors who have deep roots and the descendants who are your offshoots. This is the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck for the entire reading. And we do have here the Temperance card. Temperance is saying that you have to have patience if you're on your destined path. There could be something happening. If this is your energy year, the King of Wands, this would bug you because patience is not something that the King of Wands has a lot of. This is talking, fire energy. But temperance is talking about being, in the Bible it says there's 144,000 angels that come down to earth. And this is basically, I feel what that's talking about is just people that have been sent down with a high spiritual vibration to make the world a better place, to do their best to make the world a better place. And this is talking about, this angel has her foot in the the spiritual waters, and also planted her left foot on the earth. So this is talking about taking her own special skills and talents and pouring it into the universal pool, and then grounding that on earth. And you can see already she's growing these beautiful flowers. I got these beautiful flowers from my daughter for Mother's Day, so I thought I would share them with you. The prairie lilies are so pretty. I haven't seen those for a while. I was born in the prairies, so it's nice to see those. Anyway, getting back to the reading, but these are very pretty. And this is the crowning glory, and the sun is shining here. This is representing God's energy. So this is talking about staying on your destined path and being able to move forward. And, do so in a way that you do your best to be the best version of you and bring beauty to the planet. And then we have a tower hitting. Yes. And there seems to be some sort of different energy in here. We'll take a look here as we get moving here. The tower energy is representing when your intuition has basically been whispering to you at first, saying, hey, you might want to take a look at that, and you don't really hear or notice. So then the universe gets the frying pan out and whacks you over the head with it and says, hey, pay attention. You're like, oh, that hurt. And the universe is saying, hey, it's going to hurt way less or way more if you don't move forward pretty quick here. And then the 2x4 comes out, and you still don't, you don't do anything about what it is that the universe is trying to get your attention on. So then lightning has to hit. And lightning strikes, and now your whole, the top of your turret blew off, and the energy here is two people are falling out. One's totally shocked. The other one is like, ugh, I knew I should have done something about this sooner. And so it's that type of energy. The tower never hits at an opportune time. It's really never really an opportune time to have a tower. But it's a reality check, and it's needed, and it's talking about you know, people not living their reality, like they're not wanting to look at something, and like if you can avoid the tower, it's better to avoid the tower, because now they have to rebuild, and maybe they could have, it's on fire, like you know, this is something that they're going to have to start over again. And this could, you know, maybe could have been avoided, not necessarily, but it could have if you listened to your intuition sooner. You know what they say, 20/20 vision, you know, in the future. And so then we have Page of Wands. Page of Wands energy. This is actually someone that would be hired by the King and Queen of Wands when he was younger. Generally, the pages would work for the court, the king and the queen, around the age of 7 to 14, depending on how mature they were. You have to remember that back in those days, the life expectancy was only about half of what it is now, and they didn't have childhood like we have it now. And a lot of, you know, by the time you were 14, you might have been 2/3 through your lifespan already. So this energy is talking about it being a real coup to be invited to work for the court and being able to you know, learn the ropes of living a luxurious lifestyle, basically. And the Page of Wands energy, when it comes in, it's saying that there could be something about when you were that age, 7 to 14, or even 14 to 21, that might be coming up here, and it might be creating this tower energy, or it could be someone coming towards you that you knew from that time space, or the information is around, you know, from someone that you knew then. It doesn't have to be, but it sometimes does. And so the main task of the pages would be to deliver information and communication back and forth throughout the palace walls, do little, you know, tasks, run errands, that type of energy. And the element that the Page of Wands is focused on is the element of fire and this wood wand. Now you have to remember one thing about the Page of Wands, is that he's very passionate. He's a young man. He's got a feather in his cap. He's dressed to the nines. He's landed the best job in the kingdom, you know, for someone his age. And he has a desire to explore the world, and he's learning a lot about how the world works. This is a very enthusiastic, optimistic energy. And especially if he's learning from the King of Wands, that type of energy is really beneficial for someone being a forward thinker and enjoying like the idea of traveling in different cultures and that type of energy. So he it really admires his wand, though. He's looking up to it. So you have to remember, when the Page of Wands gives you information or communication, sometimes it could be a little scrambled because he's not always thinking clearly. He quite often is thinking with his little head instead of his big head. And this energy, in the old days, there would always be a male that would come in with the information in person. But now this could easily represent a female in her masculine energy. This energy is talking, all the archetypes in the tarot they don't represent gender, they represent masculine and feminine energy. So like a king could also be a feminine energy as well, like a female in her masculine energy, sorry. And the pages, this could be a female in her masculine energy. So, and the communication coming in would not necessarily these days have to be in person like in the old days, and probably it quite likely isn't. This could be a phone call, a text message, maybe something that comes in the mail. If someone's passionate about you, it's a project or something that they're passionate about. We've just had a tower hit. We don't quite know what that's about yet, but we will, with the King of Cups coming after, and with this energy, the thing about the King of Wands is he's a forward thinker. And you know, in the back here, he's protected. This salamander and the salamander's tails here represent an energy of protected from fire. And same with, like you notice that the Page of Wands is also wearing this same thing. It's representing that they're protected from fire. And I noticed a while back on this card, and now I can never unsee it, is this face on the back of his throne is like, it looks like two eyes and then a mustache with smoke coming out of it and smoke coming out of the mouth. And this is just could mean, because he's so smoking hot, but it might mean also that where there's smoke, there's fire. The King of Wands, sometimes his love of new adventure and new projects bleeds into his romantic life. So he's the least likely to settle down young. He is more likely to be the last of all four kings to really want to get married and settle down, and he's more going to be the type of person that plays the field, and that energy is similar with the Page of Wands. So just keeping that in mind. So where there's smoke, there's fire, and this can just talk about like this information coming in. You know, it could be someone who's really passionate about you, and they want to offer you a cup of love because this is following after, or you could be the King of Cups or the King of Wands energy. I feel like this is almost representing the same person that is wanting to offer a cup of love. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be, because lately I've been having a lot of kings in my readings show up, and sometimes they're not always that way, but with these two together, I feel that that's the case, because here we have some, you know, like this could be, someone could be receiving flowers like I did. And, you know, or it could be a representation of, you might see something, a message even on social media, and someone messages you there, or you see an event posted and you decide, I'm going to go to that event, and then you meet this King of Cups energy, which is like, you know, the King of Cups is feeling very passionate about you and wants to offer you a cup of love. And that might just mean that now he's mature enough that he is ready to settle down. And because usually when the King of Cups comes in, the King of Cups has a really good grip on his emotions. He, you know, in tarot, the water around, rough water around someone like this represents a lot of volatile emotions around. A lot, like passion can do that as well. This is almost like water and fire creating steam, that type of energy. And so he's ready in a moment's notice to step forward with this cup of love, but he has a really, like, of all the kings, he's the most emotionally available. When he understands emotions really well, and he's waiting, I feel, for this tower to settle down before he comes forward with this cup, because he wants the person that he's offering it to take it and not turn it down if they're in some sort of situation here. I don't know quite what happened. Sometimes the anatomy of this, like, we don't know, but we do know that this could be the King of Wands is passionate for sure, and I feel that that's the same king. Wanting to offer a cup of love, and that's the communication coming in. And then we have a wounded warrior. And so this wounded warrior energy is talking about someone who is staying on their destined path, but it's been difficult, and they've managed, like the wands do represent seeds that you've planted, and now they've grown into these wands, and he's managed to plant 8 wands here and grow them from seeds, and now they're growing up, and so there's going to be a harvest coming from those. Sometimes this can represent other people's wands, but in this case he has managed to do this. And there's only 10 wands in the tarot, so this is a big accomplishment. He's leaning hard though on the 9th one, and it's close to his heart. And so it's like, and he's got a band-aid on his head, saying he's got a big headache from all that it took. It took a lot of energy to stay on his destined path to be able to bring this in. And it's almost time for the harvest. He's leaning hard on the 9th one, and he only has 1 more to go. And then we have the 3 of Pentacles energy coming in. So Pentacles in tarot represent health, wealth, and happiness in the 3D, and they're shaped in the form of a coin, because coins represent money, and the money part of the 3D world, of course, is very important. But if you don't have your health or love in your life, or no passion, but you have lots of money, it's going to feel quite empty. And so this is more about lifestyle, and how do you want to live your life. And this is saying that this energy is saying, I feel like it's talking about the energy of the wounded warrior here, which could, you know, it could represent I'm just going to carry on with this because it's coming to me, but I want to wait and see here. This energy, so this is talking about this wounded warrior being in an elevated position now. People are starting to notice that, wow, they're really good at what they do, whatever that is. They're in an elevated position, and people are wanting to collaborate and do business, which is awesome. This is talking about whatever the energy is, you've mastered your skill set, and it's obvious to people. These people have plans in their hands, and there's a spotlight showing how beautiful the work that this person has done. Quite often this can represent like the entertainment industry, like actors, actresses, musicians, bands, that type of energy. And it can also represent someone, you might have been valedictorian of your class. You might be a really, really good athlete, and these are scouts coming to offer you scholarships to their college or university, or even better yet, now they're offering you to come and play for their pro athletic team, that type of energy. This can also represent someone like who's received certification for their, to be able to do their work, like apprentice energy, and now you're elevated to being able to do your craft on your own. So you're in a very strong position here. There's a lot of people noticing, a lot of people want to work with you and sign you up. But this is where you have to be really, really careful, because this card is saying that you really want to read over any contracts, any agreements that you make, and really consider them. Don't be in this energy like, oh my God, I got to take the first offer in case they give it to someone else. Quite often people who are in this position are not used to being, like artists, and we hear about starving artists and actors and actresses having to go to a bazillion auditions, and bands playing for years before they're discovered, that type of energy. So quite often that and this energy is talking about making sure that you understand how valuable your asset is right now, and that you need to find a lawyer that can really read over the agreements and contracts so that there's no loopholes, and you have to consider your lifestyle, because if you're signing a contract, it could be for several years. Like for instance, you are a rock and roll band, and then you sign up and you didn't read the fine print, and now they want you to be a country band instead, that type of energy. And now you don't have any choice, you don't get to be rock and roll anymore. And so it's that type of energy. Sometimes this can represent secret society energy. And there's quite a lot of that in the entertainment industry, so you want to be really careful of it. There's a lot of energy where people are breadcrumbed, and then they don't get paid as much as they should or could be making, and everybody else is getting rich off their backs. You see this all the time. We're seeing it right now being played out in the news, like with the files and everything that's going on behind the scenes. So congratulations, and be careful that you really take a look at any contracts. And make sure you get someone that understands those contracts, that understands the loopholes. And then we have here the Page of Swords. Page of Swords energy is basically, this is another page energy, and this page is representing the sword energy, which is the element of air. And the swords do represent your mental intelligence and your discipline of your mind. This represents your thought process, basically. And of all the pages, he's the only one. You see, he's not as focused on his element. He actually is looking away from it, because this is a double-edged sword, and he understands that to have a creative solution, he needs to use his logic, which he already knows what the logical question is. He needs to use his intuition to find a creative solution to the problem. And so that's why he's looking away. He's thinking outside the box. The communication could come in in all the other ways that we're talking about. And sometimes this can represent a breath of fresh air. That when you have those aha moments, like you've had something, been maybe even trying to remember someone's name, and then all of a sudden it pops into your head at the weirdest time, like 4 days later after you don't need it anymore. But you're like, okay, now I remember their name. Aha, or you've been working on something and you've been looking at it from all angles, but you haven't been able to really grab the true solution, and you're maybe just doing the dishes or something, and woohoo, yes, I know this thought comes in. Uh-oh, we have sabotage energy here. And so this is talking about the energy here. If you saw, this tower energy. So with this all together here, I feel like this could have happened to you maybe, where you had a really good idea, and then there was a tower because you signed a contract, and you ended up not being a good contract, and maybe you made a what is a lot of people would consider as a poor decision, and now maybe like you feel like beholden to it, or you've really suffered because of it. And this is talking about a calibrated effort to take you down, to take this from you, whatever this idea is or was. And like this is after putting a lot of work into it, and all of this can represent even a decade of this kind of energy, being stabbed in the back and left for unalive. Like nobody, it's just kaboom, everything blew up. And anyone you turn to, all of a sudden you realize, hey, they were part of it. And so this can sometimes represent a decade or more of that kind of energy. It can also represent an energy of one person doing this 10 times. It can represent 10 people, or it can even represent 10 different groups of people. So this is a real challenging position to be in. Having said that, the hand is in the form of a blessing here, which is the same as the Hierophant. And so this can sometimes represent a blessing in disguise. So this energy, there's some light here in the dark, and this represents sometimes the light at the end of the tunnel. And this is saying, okay, you need to get up. Like you might not feel like getting up. Don't quit now. Get up. And this is 10 cards, so 1 + 0 = 1. It's talking about 10 being the 9 is the end of the cycle, and 10 is about the end of that cycle, turning into a rebirth. And it could be a blessing in disguise for you. I don't know why yet. Let's keep going and let's see if we can figure that out. We have okay, so we have the Two of Wands here, and this is, for me, this quite often represents like a franchise energy, an entrepreneur. He's standing at the top of his turret here, and he's looking out over the water, and he's thinking, wow, I'm gonna go global with this energy. Maybe something has gone viral, or he's been invited to participate with someone else in a new person overseas, and he's thinking, this is like awesome, like I've got the world in my hands. I've been successful here, and I was wondering how I could expand, and now I'm going to go overseas, and I'm going to either franchise this. This represents to me a lot of franchise energy, where a lot of people are saying, wow, this is really awesome, this is really good, and then the next thing you're having this offer. This is, I have the world in my hands. But this is like a big fish in a little pond energy. You know that if you want to expand your business and your knowledge and all of that, you're kind of in this energy here where you're excited about it. And you're like, yes, I finally have landed this opportunity, and I'm going to move forward. And then your turret blows up for some reason. The lightning hits it. And it has to do with this energy for sure. So this is talking about juggling pentacles here. This can be multitasking. There could be several people multitasking to get you in this position so that they could take your idea. It is a really, really good idea. But I'm not laughing at you. I'm just telling you, it is a really, really good idea. A lot of people think it's a really, really good idea. And so sometimes when this king energy is coming in like this, and he's offering a cup, it could be for something you love to do or something you love to be. And I feel someone was juggling. And this juggling pentacles is talking about juggling lifestyle, like juggling your home life and your business life, or juggling two options, that kind of energy. This card always says juggle your options, but never ever juggle your morals. And look at the big eagle on the hat here. I feel this is saying someone that you got into, that you thought was a really good opportunity, was juggling more than like just you, and like there was more people involved in this agreement that you made that you didn't know about. And so it's that type of energy. So this is talking about like you might have been really busy getting this, you know, off the ground, and you were on your 9th wand when you find out all of a sudden it's just gone. Like it's like, what happened to all my hard work? And then you start noticing that there's different people using that material. And it's that type of energy. So this is shifty energy. It's like talking about while you were really busy building and building and gaining momentum and being excited because you were actually expanding, there was plans behind the scene to sabotage you. And so this is talking about an earth angel energy. This is saying that you're doing your best to stay on your destined path, be a good person, you're excited about what you do, you're really loving it. I don't feel this is about romantic energy here. I feel that this is representing someone that really loves what they do, that type of energy. So, and there's some information that comes in, you've had this great idea, and now these other people want to take it from you, and they're juggling their morals, and they're juggling, I feel like the options that you had here were juggled. And then this is talking about you being like standing there, and you're on the 9th wand already, and you've done all this work, and this could represent like 9 years of work here. And you get sabotaged, unfortunately, and they do their best to take what you love from you and use it for themselves, that type of energy. Now, we're gonna clarify this and see what this is about. You can't take what someone loves from them, but they've taken a big chunk of it, but it's a blessing in disguise. So, you know what, a lot of times in this energy, you might have thought this was a really great idea, and then it turns out it wasn't such a great idea after all. That's like, I don't mean to insult you, but that could be like, there was some major flaws in the thinking, you know? And so what happened is it actually saved you because you didn't invest all your money into it. You continued to work at it, and now what they stole like a decade ago or whatever, you've been working and building on it, and now you have it perfected. So really, I mean, this is really backward thinking, and you might be thinking, oh, come on, you can't turn a negative. I'll be the first one to say you can't turn a negative into a positive, but you can take that negative energy and you can take positive action and then build upon that, whatever happened. And one thing is, when someone's in this position and they manage to get back up again, they're strong. Like they are super strong. So this energy is saying you lost, you definitely have. It has set you back, that's for sure. But you've learned a lot from it, like I'm sure you have. It's not in a fun way, but you know, you've got a headache. But you still managed to land those 8 wands, and you still, you only have 2 to go, and you're leaning hard on this 9th one. So you're determined. You got up and you did it. And you're still thinking about expanding. And now, when you look back, I just feel like you're looking back and saying, whew, thank God I didn't do it that way. I'm glad I didn't put all my money into doing it that way. So it was a learning curve for you. A real negative, like it wasn't much fun, but it's so funny because I'm clarifying here with my oracle tales from the Vector, and this is courtesy of the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And I'll tell you, this is about dragons from the future, and they have a weird sense of humor, and I'm just getting like, it's funny because the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor now, and had you gone forward and taken this out there, you would have put all your money into it, and you wouldn't have learned what you needed to learn to make it so it's successful. So I feel like now the Wheel of Fortune is turning. You might have been like years ahead of your time. You might have been more than a decade ahead of your time with this idea, and it wouldn't have taken, and maybe it didn't. And everybody was like, everybody thought it was a great idea. A lot of people thought it was a great idea. And now, actually, I feel like when you come out with it again, it's going to be perfected, and now it's a great idea. It's funny to me, like, yeah, God has your back here. So this is a blessing in disguise. This stopped you from moving forward and kind of ruining the idea, basically, because taking it in a direction that actually wouldn't have worked as well as it does. You've learned a lot. When we get it, when Wounded Warrior energy, it's, when you're here and you still are standing, and your turret got blown up, there's no doubt it's been rough. But I feel like there might be a few other turrets that are blown up as well. Dang, these kings are coming in like heavy these days. We have attachment. So this is talking about, I just should let you know, this is Tales from the Vector, my oracle. I started it in 2007. In 2020, I completed it. These numbers on these cards represent the paintings that I did. I'm an artist. I did 64 paintings. In 2020, I completed all the paintings. And now I finally have time to work on it again. I had to do it in between between life, basically. And this energy is now, I'm working on the information that goes with the paintings. I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com, and these numbers represent the paintings as they're listed in my gallery. And I'll put that in the box below, and I'll put the numbers of the cards in the order they appear here, so that you know which ones to look for. So this is about attachment. This is really a karmic space that we can fall into, and it's kind of funny because it's saying what's yours is mine and what's mine is mine. So you're like, you can have it. Thank you. I was watching you do all this work on my thought and my project, and I know what I don't want to do now. And this is like you let go of that attachment to it. You had to, because you were busy just dealing with life. When you're here, this is like you have to like convince yourself to get back up again, and that can take it could have taken a whole decade for you to stand back up again because it was painful. This is saying that sometimes this energy here, if this is like not someone that's offering you a cup of love, but loves your cup, then sometimes this can represent like the paternal line. So this can even represent sometimes energy from family members or people that you consider like family. Because remember, community can be family as well. So this could be people that you look up to. It can also be uncles, cousins, like brothers, that type of energy. People that you thought that you could really count on and that you trusted. So you gave them, you told them all the details of your idea and all of that kind of energy. And it looks like they've collaborated with other people to bring that out. And then I feel like it was kind of like a big collapse because God was shining light on it. And when the Sun card comes in, this is God's energy coming in, and it's talking about the happiest card in the deck, and it's sitting right here on the Earth Angel energy. So God was like, yeah, you were 10 years ahead of your time. So I had to slow you down a little here because you had a good idea, but you didn't have the whole story. And so sometimes it's better just to learn from other people's mistakes than to learn from your own. Not that you didn't learn from your mistakes. I'm getting there was a lot of them. But it's, at least it was like you learned from them and you didn't pour what you would have poured into this financially, etc., and then been in a position where you couldn't get back on your feet and do it now. So this is awesome. Plus, these people have already shown you how not to do it, and everybody else that they showed it to, because this is just saying it didn't work out. Like it's especially, and that's because you were the star, and this was your destined path. The Wheel of Fortune is representing the past, the present, and the future coming together, and there's 3 wheels. in the Wheel of Fortune, and on one of those wheels, it actually has the Hebrew letters for the name of God, which is Tetragrammaton. And a Tetragrammaton is a sacred geometric symbol that symbolizes perfect order on God's plan. If God made you the star of this energy, and this thought, and you're his star, then this energy, you were following God's plan. And so when they weren't working against you anyway, don't take it personally. They just are people that want to really, really liked your idea. And God protected you. Rejection is God's protection. So this is talking about you following your North Star. And yeah, I'm not saying it was easy, but it's saying that this was meant for you. This is destined for you, and no one can take away from you what God destined for you. But you were ahead. you did. It was the idea could have been before its time, or you were ahead of yourself. And if you would have brought it out the way that you were going to, it would have been a failure. But these people failed for you, and this is abuse of power. Definitely, yes, it is. But you know, you learn from it. And so that's the kind of energy that, you know, you just have to be grateful for what you learned from it, and grateful that you could stand back up. They weren't fighting you anyway. They were fighting God's plan. So it was, you know, rejection is God's protection. Quite often that is rejection. And this has brought you to an Empress energy. So the Empress energy is just talking about you know, having so much shift happen in your life that you've had, like when you get up after this, it's saying you've learned a lot to be able to even get back up, and now you know better, and so you will do better because you're in this energy that's more elevated. The Empress represents the qualities of all four queens in the deck, and she you know, has those qualities because it's a status symbol in tarot of you've lived a lot of hardships or whatever, a lot of life lessons, and now you've learned so much that you've learned what all of those four elements have to teach you. I mean, you still have way more to learn, of course, but it's saying you're way more elevated even than when you were here. And in my oracle, this is Ange, the Crystal Queen, and she is the very first dragon that came to me that started me on this, doing this oracle. And she is, you know, sitting on a double terminated quartz crystal, a big cluster. And this is, she's a generator, and she laid all the eggs around the world that created the veins of all the crystals throughout the world until she had her own little dragon baby. And that's so that she is in the flow. This is about being in the flow, and she's on top here. So that's what this is saying. It's time to bring, and that's maybe why now I was like, like, I enjoyed doing it, but is it worth continuing as a project? And I'm like, yeah, now I decided to do that a while back here. So I do hope you've enjoyed it. I will bring it out at some point, but right now I'm working on the information that goes along with it. I do hope you've enjoyed this. Give it a like and comment if you have. I'm building my channel and I really appreciate it. Also consider subscribing. I would be honored if you did so. I will be back with another reading about random shift. This was pretty random in some ways, but I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you did too. Bye for now.